to be acceptable. You know that happened in the Old Testament too. But he says, watch out for those things. 1 Timothy 3, 1 through 5 and verse 13. He gives them a warning, telling them, here's some things that you need to be absolutely careful of. Don't forget, we're human. We can be just as susceptible to hidden evil around us and hidden evil in our own lives. And I think we need to make sure that we do our best to stay on guard through that. How do we do that? How do we guard against living a double life, in essence? How do we guard against just the good being a cloak, being a cover-up in our lives, and having evil underneath all of that? Like the wolf in sheep's clothing that we see in the background. How do we keep this from happening? First of all, I'll say it like this. Quit trying to be like the world. Quit trying to be like the world. And notice the word I'm emphasizing there. Quit trying to do it. Whenever we blatantly say, I want that, or I want to do this, or I want to be this way, I want what they want, and then we go through the process of getting what others have that are in the world, or doing what others do that are in the world, we're trying. We're trying to be like the world. We're going to see that here in the next several weeks. As we get closer to Christmas, and granted, I can't talk. We've already got 3 Christmas trees up in our house. But think about it when the day after Thanksgiving, when people start decorating the outside. There are some neighborhoods where the people just absolutely get in a huge competition. They want to outdo their neighbor, right? They want to do better than what their neighbors got. Reminds me of the movie Christmas with the Cranks, where they try to do that. But they look at their neighbors and they say, oh, I want to do better than that, or I want to have some better decorations than what they've got. And we try to outdo each other. Now, of course, I understand that that's harmless behavior in a sense. But whenever we see people in sin, and we try to be like them, try to be like the world, that is where we come into problems. 3 John 1 and verse 11 says, Beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. That's a pretty powerful passage, isn't it? Reminding us that if we have this desire, if we're trying to do evil just to be like the world, he says it's as if you're blind. You haven't seen God. You really don't know Him like you think that you do. So he says, be cautious on that. And here's basically what I would suggest in this. Don't be fooled by the rite of passage mentality. Let me explain what I'm talking about. When I go back to my high school days, I remember what it was like, at least at my high school, around prom time. You know what at least I can speak from a boy's perspective. You know what a lot of boys were thinking about? It's my senior prom. I want to go to the senior prom with the most beautiful girl. And you know what? We're going to get some hotel rooms that night. And it's going to be the best night of our life. And I see people all the time acting as if that is some sort of rite of passage, that's what you're supposed to do when you're a senior in high school. It's what you're supposed to do. But folks, it's not. It's not. That's when you're trying to be like the world, when things like that become a part of, this is something I have to do in order to be normal, in order to be a part of the world, a part of society. But you don't. Don't be fooled of the rite of passage mentality. I see that same thing, with alcohol. The legal drinking age in this country is 21, so it's like you have to do it when you turn 21. You don't. That's just what the world's telling you that you have to do. But also, don't just quit trying to be like the world. Don't make a practice of sin. Don't make a practice of it. Here's something that I understand completely, is that from this point forward in our lives, we're never going to live a life where we don't make a mistake, where we don't mess up from time to time, where we don't do something wrong. We're human beings. We're going to do that. That's why we have to rely on the grace of Jesus Christ and the fact that we can constantly come back to God asking for forgiveness and Him giving us another chance to change some things and to do things right. I understand that. But it's when we make a practice of sin, whenever we do something continually, whenever we just continually do it without any reservation anymore, without any guilt, it just becomes a part of our life. And guess what, folks? That's when we really start justifying different sin in our life. And we've got to be so careful about that. Because it is so easy to start justifying something when it becomes normal in your life. We look at it and we say, well, maybe that's the one thing that God will just show His grace on and He'll understand. Folks, that's a very, very dangerous path to be walking down, to have that attitude towards it. Don't make a practice of sin. 1 John 3 and verse 8 says, whoever makes a practice of sinning is of the devil. For the devil has been sinning from the beginning. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the works of the devil. And folks, shouldn't that be what we are trying to do every day of our life? Looking at our own life, assessing how we are living, and if the works of the devil are any part of our life, we go through there and with God's help, we try to destroy those things. We try to get rid of those things that really do that to us. To practice sin is to make it normal. It's to desensitize it and to say it's no big deal. We cannot do that. If we do, then we're essentially living that double life. So we need to guard against living that double life. I just want to close with this question this morning. Are you hiding evil on the inside by appearing good on the outside? It's not my job to stand up here and point fingers, but it is my job sometimes to step on toes, even my own sometimes. But I want you to think of anything in this lesson or other lessons, does it ever step on your toes? If it does, then that might be a time for you to sit back and reflect and think about your own life and think about, are there changes that I need to make in my life? And if there are changes, that's why we offer an invitation on Sundays, Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, and Wednesday nights, because we want to give you an opportunity. If you're having trouble taking that step on your own, we want to give you that opportunity to do so in the encouragement of your family of God, so that we can pray with you and for you, so that we can purge Satan, we can purge that evil out of your life and out of our own life. So if you're here this morning and you are struggling, if you're struggling to not live like the world, if you need to change your mentality and not try to live like the world, you want to live differently, you want to live for the Lord, and as a Christian you haven't been doing that, we want you to come. We want you to be restored. We want you to essentially start over, if that's what you need to do. And we can do that by being with you and praying. But also, if you're here this morning and you're not a child of God, then basically Satan still reigns within your mortal body. Satan still has a hold on your spirit. If you know that you have lived a sinful life, and you know that you need forgiveness, and you know that Jesus is the only way you can receive that forgiveness, then He wants you to come to Him in obedience. And you do that by repenting of your sins, confessing His name, and being baptized into Christ. We want to help you do that this morning. If you need to come for either reason, please come as we together stand and as we sing.
What can wash away my